Now you can get started. Thank you very much for everyone's patience. Bye.
Thank you. 好，大家好，欢迎来到今天的问答环节。
Hi everyone, welcome to today's Q&A session.
我是 Stanley， 然后我负责的书是俱舍论。
I'm Stanley, I'm translating Abhidhamma Kosha.
然后我现在在中国深圳。
Right now I'm in Shenzhen, China.
然后因为俱舍论是所有的这个经典的基础，它叫根本教。
Because Abhidhamma Kosha is actually the foundation of all teachings. It is called the fundamental teaching.
所以理论上我可以回答任何这个相关的内容。
Theoretically, I can answer all your questions related to all like aspects.
因为阿毗达摩是根本是基础。
Again, because Abhidhamma is the foundation.
但是如果我有回答不了的问题，我会留到下一次的留给好像明天是 Word 老师。
If there is any question that I cannot answer, then I will leave it to Word, who will lead tomorrow's Q&A.
所以这就是我今天的战略策略。
So this is my strategy today.
好，那请大家如果有任何问题的话，无论是中文、英文，或者是西班牙文或者其他语言，都可以写在这个聊天区。
So if you have any questions, no matter it is in Chinese, English, or Spanish, please write down in the chat box or just say, right?
然后如果没有问题的话，我可以跟大家一起复习一下今天的几堂课，趁着我们这个记忆还比较新鲜的。
If there is no question, then I will help you review today's class since we have fresh memories now.
我发现我这样讲话的很英式，那个中文不要这句话不要翻了。OK， 好，第一个问题，Alicia， 请直接说吧，请直接打在那个聊天区就好。
First question from Alicia. She will. She wrote it in the chat box. First, hi teacher, the book that you translated, is there a part that is into Chinese?
有的，但是我还不想把它放出来，我们现在只是给翻译内部用，因为就是很多都是需要调整的，而且那些文字很多都是因为有一些是其他的译者翻译的，是比较晦涩难懂的，所以我想把它变成现代中文再给到大家。
Yes, I do have some Chinese information. However, I would not like to release them to you right now because some of them are translated by other translators and it's kind of hard to understand. We still have to adjust it before we release it.
而且还有可能会误解，看那些古中文看不懂，有可能还会误解。
And because it's in ancient Chinese, so it's kind of misleading.
所以就是建议大家可以在听的时候更专注在那些意思上，因为如果你不是翻译的话，你不用太担心语言的部分，就是更专注在它的意思就好。
So I suggest when everyone listens to our translation class, you can focus on the meaning of this teaching, not focus much on the words themselves.
然后可以做这个钻石采矿，看看这些教授如何能够提取出现代能用的工具用到生活工作当中。
And diamond mining is encouraged to see where you can find something useful to be applied into your daily life.
谢谢汤汤。OK， 好，我们看下一个问题是卢卡的问题，问说错误理解不存在基础式里，为何基础式纯需要去包含这部分
？Second question from Luca. The misunderstanding is not in foundation consciousness. Then why the continuum of foundation consciousness has to include this part?
很酷的问题，我们可以借机来复习一下 Word 老师的这个唯识的课。
Very cool question, and by this chance, we would like to review teacher Word's class.
因为我们其实有讲到说，为什么，譬如说在上一堂课第一堂课当中，我们提到为什么 那4个不定的意识功能，寻思跟睡眠跟恶作嘛，这4个 variable， 4个不定的意识功能，为什么它不是恒常在阿赖耶识中的？我们有讲到这一点。
For example, last class we talked about the 4 variables why they're not in the they're not stably existing in the kunshi, which is foundation consciousness. Can you say the English of the 4 variables? Sorry, sleep, memory, and then
noting and examining.
Noting and examining, which are the 4 variables.
And they're not omnipresent in the kunshi, right? 他们不是那个一直处在阿赖耶识当中的。然后其中一个原因就是他们的那个 raw data，就是他们的原始材料。
初始信息。
对，他们初始信息是不是中性的。
One of the reason is because their raw data is not neutral.
而阿赖耶识是中性的。
While foundation consciousness is neutral.
而且是一直中性的。
And it's neutral all the way.
所以如果有不是中性的意识功能的话，它就不可能一直处在那里。
So non-neutral mental functions will not stay in the neutral foundation consciousness all the time.
所以也回应到卢卡问到的那个，无论是错误的理解 misunderstanding 还是 understanding 正确理解也好，他们都不是中性的，一个是negative， 一个是恶的，一个是善的。
So this is also related to Luca's question. No matter it is misunderstanding or correct understanding, both of them are not neutral. One is negative, one is positive. They are not neutral.
所以卢卡说的是很对的，就是我们证明说，这2个理解跟不理解作为2种业力的种子，在阿赖耶识里面的2种业力种子，他们都是由业力种子创造的，然后变成了阿赖耶识的一部分，但的确没有证明为什么阿赖耶识就不会停留。这也是乌帕拉最后提的问题，所以这个是留到下一堂课给老师去跟威尔去解答的。
抱歉，我后面有一点乱了，就是它是这2种理解是由意识种子创造出来的，然后他们成为了阿赖耶识的一部分吗？ Yeah, please slow down. Thank you.
我们讲到说，唯识30颂里面讲到，由诸业习气恶取习气具。上一句是诸识转变分别所分别，这里讲的就是说，这个阿赖耶识会转化为分别跟所分别，分别跟所分别就是那个分别就是那个 perception， 就是认知，所分别就是 what is perceived， 像那个 blue 啊什么的，被认知的部分叫所分别嘛。
In mine only 30 verses, there is one verse that says, foundation consciousness can be divided into the perceptioner and the perceptionee.
Perceiver and what's perceived.
Perceiver and what is perceived.
然后他们这2个都是由业习气，就是业力种子所创的。
Both of them are created by karmic seeds.
所以这就证明了说，整一个阿赖耶识都是由业力种子创造的嘛，因为这2部分都是，所以整个都是。
This proves that the whole foundation consciousness is created by karmic seeds because what compose the foundation karmic seeds, which are the 2 parts, are created by karmic seeds.
然后在这2曲当中，就2种在这2个当中，它其实有正确的理解，也有不正确的理解嘛。
Within these 2, there are correct understanding and mistaken understanding.
然后 misunderstanding 误解就是说，他们认为这个蓝色在外，跟这个眼是分开的。
Misunderstanding, for example, is like they think blue is outside, is separate from our eyes.
然后正确的理解就是讲的是这个蓝色跟眼睛，就是一个是所分别所见，一个是见，这两者其实是来自于同根的嘛，都是同样的种子创造的，这是正确的理解。
And then the correct understanding is that the eyes and the blue are the perceiver and what is perceived, and they are coming from the same karmic seed. This is the correct understanding.
但是的确没有能够证明为什么阿赖耶识会持续，因为这种无论是正确理解还是误解，它都不是阿赖耶识恒常都不是恒常在阿赖耶识里面的意识功能。
However, there is no one so far to prove why foundation consciousness lasts like forever, because correct understanding and misunderstanding, they are not stable mental functions of foundation consciousness.
Sometimes you can call it omnipresent mental function. Omnipresent 就是
omnipresent
对对
mental functions. Thank you.
然后这就无法回答在生死之间，就是在这一世死去，下一世再生，中间这个中阴阶段，这个过渡阶段，阿赖耶识有没有持续的问题，就没办法解答这个问题。
In this way, that we cannot explain why between the death of this life and the birth of next life, which is the bardo, that foundation consciousness could sustain or last.
所以精彩继续，请看下一堂课。
So the brilliant teachings will continue. We will look forward to next class.
好，我们看一下下一个问题，杨正明的问题说：老师您好，我是想问关于自我意识的问题。我能感受到我的想法念头，这是我的意识，但是我还没有办法感受到他人的意识和精神世界，是不是我通过修行可以感受到很多人的精神世界，就像感受到自己的意识世界一样？
Hi, teacher. This question is from Mr. Yang Zhenming. I would like to ask about my mind. A question about my mind. I can feel my thoughts, my ideas. This is my mind. However, I cannot feel other people's mind or their spiritual world. Is it that I can, through practice, can feel other people's mental world, spiritual world, like the way I feel mine?
这个问题其实可以有很多的那个理解的角度，譬如说，应该是 Kramer 老师 Dan Kramer 的那一堂课里面也讲到了6种神通嘛，其中一个叫他心通。
To approach this question, there are many perspectives. Like from teacher Ben Kramer's class, it talked about the 6 kind of miracles. Clairvoyance, and it talked about reading other people's mind.
It's one of them. One of the six. 然后所以而且那个是可以通过冥想，就是极其专注的练习获得的。
Which can be obtained through practicing meditation.
所以这是一个角度去回答。
So this is one of the perspective I would like to answer this question.
然后第二个角度就是，如果从唯识的角度来看的话。
And the second perspective is from mind only.
同一颗种子创造了你跟其他人。
One seed create you yourself and other people.
然后，所以从这角度你是可以读到其他人，因为这2个都是你的意识创造，它都是你的阿赖耶识的一部分。
From this point of view, then you can perceive other people's minds or their spiritual world because they come from you.
就是佛陀当然是可以这样做的，因为他叫 Mr. Know It All 嘛，他就是有一切智，就是智就是知晓的意思，就是能够知晓一切，叫一切智。
Buddha can do this because his nickname is Mr. Know It All. He is omniscience. He has the wisdom to perceive all.
而且也只有到那里，我们才可以真正帮助别人，不然我们根本不知道别人在想什么，然后我们怎么去真正去判断 什么是对他最好的呢？
Only by reaching that kind of state can we really help others. Otherwise, we don't know what they are really thinking about. We can help them less efficiently.
就像格西老师常举的一个例子，就是说一个医生，他当你来找他的时候啊，你找这么一个医生，一个大医王的时候，
And an example that Gisela would like to use, or usually use, is that a doctor, if you want to seek a doctor, you would like to seek a king of doctor.
意思就是他能够看到三世过去、现在、未来，就是他可以看到你这个病到底是具体什么种子导致的，病根在哪，然后他能够清楚看到你现在所有的病状、症状，然后他可以清楚看到你现在吃什么药，未来会好，而且什么时候好、怎么好，都看得清清楚楚，直接看到。
Meaning that he can see into the 3 times, like what is the symptom of your diseases right now and what in the past you did to cause the symptoms and what medicine that you take that is helpful for you in the future to recover. He can see it all.
而且他能够看到你是真的恢复那一天，因为吃这个药而恢复那一天，他都看到。
And he can even see the day that you recover because of taking the medicine today.
Then I'll go to doctor like this 然后我就会去找这样的医生了，当然，所以这是我们可以去追求的目标。
And then this is the goal that is worthwhile pursuing.
这就是为什么我们在学习这么多的知识，这么多智慧，就是我们要去扩展自己的所知。
And this is why we would learn so many stuff, study so many knowledge, teachings. We need to broaden our views.
然后让破掉那个我们叫所知障。所知障的意思就是障碍你获得一切智的障碍，也就是你知道的还不够多，现在知道太少。譬如说过去我们根本不是，未来也不知道，完全看不到。
In another term, that is to destroy our obstacle to omniscience. Obstacle to omniscience means that we still do not know enough, that if we can break it, then we can see into the past and right now and the future.
所知障有时候我们可能会误解，以为是因为之前的经验或者认知障碍了未来，但实际上这不是真正的所知障的意思。所知障意思就是我们知道太少了，井底之蛙。
There is a common misunderstanding to this word, obstacle to omniscience. We kind of interpret it as that because of the past experience that we have wrong or mistaken ideas about something. However, obstacle to omniscience is that we cannot still perceive the past, present, and future.
然后这就是对这个杨正明先生这个问题的回答了。然后我们看下一个问题是Ken Chu 的问题，说May I ask in the 5 hips, one of it is other factors. Is it just seeds or there are other factors? 当然我直接讲这个中文了，就是他这个问题是在5蕴当中有一蕴中文叫行蕴，或者叫如果按英文直译就是其他的因素，其他的东西然后这里面包含了他问说是不是只是种子或者还有别的东西，很好的一个问题。
Stanley just translated that question into Chinese, and it's a very good question.
Yeah.
From Ken Chu.
Ken Chu, yes. 然后就是对5蕴的理解，其实俱舍论里面就小乘跟大乘又不一样。俱舍还有一个世行大师的大乘阿毗达摩写的又不太一样，所以我先用那个现在我们学到的这个根本教里面的，就是俱舍论里面的东西来回答一下。
To the understanding of 5 hips, the Mahayana and Hinayana holds different views towards them. And then right now I would like to approach it through what we are studying. That is the foundation teaching of Abhidhammakosha.
The foundation teaching of for all Buddhism, yes. 然后我想一下，譬如说阿毗达摩里面讲意识功能就是心所有46种。
For example, Abhidhammakosha says that our mental functions has 46 types.
他把所有的意识的东西，有心类的东西、心法类的东西分为2种，一个是心王，一个心所，一个是主意识，一个是意识功能。
It divides the mental, all things related to mind into two kinds. One is the mind king of the mind, which is the main mind, and the second is the mental functions.
然后心所意识功能有46。
And then the second type, which is mental functions, has 46.
但是在 Word 46，然后但是在 Word 那个唯识里面有51个，所以不一样。
However, in mind-only school, it says it is 51, so different in different schools.
然后在所有这些心所当中，意识功能当中，我们有把2个拿出来单独成为2个韵，那就是 feeling discrimination 受跟想，感受跟分别想。
And then among all the 46 mental functions, we take out 2, which is feelings and the discrimination.
然后你看我们那个心王放在哪里呢？ main mind 就放在最后一个韵，就是识韵那里。
And then the main mind we conclude into the consciousness, which is the last hip.
Yeah. 然后所以你看，那第一个韵是色韵，也就是物质的，不是心类的东西。
So you can see that the first hip is form. It is nothing related to mental stuff.
所以你看剩下的44个就放在了 other factor 这里，行韵这里。
And other than the 2 mental functions that are taken out, the rest of the 44 belong to the other factors, which is the 4th hip.
但是
However,
在第4韵里面
within the 4th hip,
它不是只有这种意识功能的东西，它还有另外一类事物。
Other than the mental functions, it has included other things as well.
我写一个笔记，心相应。
I would like to write down some notes first.
你看啊，在行韵里面，它就分心相应行跟不相应行。
Okay, within the heap of other factors, it has other factors related to mind, mental functions, and factors not related to mind, right?
好像叫做 mentally linked， 是这样 ，mentally linked or not， 翻译成这个看法。
翻译成 mental link.
Mentally linked. Those which are mentally linked, and those are not.
Mentally linked. Mentally linked and those who are not.
Yeah. 所以你说在跟心相应那一类的，那就是所有的意识功能。
And then the mentally linked are the mental functions.
就像我们常讲的那个贪嗔痴慢疑之类的。
Like what we usually call the desire, the hatred, the ignorance, etc.
然后但是还有不相应的，就是不是心类的东西。
And there are also, as we mentioned, the non-mentally linked.
所以这里面就有很多讲究了，然后那个大乘小乘的又不一样。
There are so many things uh, involved, and then there's difference between Mahayana and Hinayana approach.
然后譬如说 seed 种子就在这里了，你问到的
For
Kenchi 问的，
example, Kenchu's question mentioned about seed, and the seed is in the non-mentally linked
因为他不会想东西，所以他不是心相应。
because the seeds cannot think, so they are not mentally linked.
然后 karma 然后还有那个我像 Stanley 也在那里。
And then Stanley, also belongs to non-mentally linked.
还有其他的，譬如说他把那个无常也放在那里。
And also impermanence belongs to that category.
这里好像有14个吧，在句舍里面有14个，但是在唯识里面有22个，如果我没记错的。
From my memories, if I recall correctly, in Abhidhamma Kosha there is 14 non-mentally linked, and in Mind Only talked about how many? Sorry,
22。
22. In Mind Only talked about 22.
但其实我们学习这些是很有用的，因为我们能够了解整个宇宙到底有什么没什么。
When we learn this, it's quite useful for us because we know what is the whole universe composed of.
这葛西老师常讲的这个我们的策略叫做 divide and conquer， 就是分而治之，先全部区分分类，然后一一去搞定，分而治之。
And then Geshe-la always talks about what strategy that we are using is divide and conquer. We divide them apart and then we conquer them.
Cool. 希望有回答到你的问题。
I hope I can answer your question.
You're welcome. You're welcome. 然后有 Vivian 王老师问到说，葛西老师说，如果在厨房里面能够理解字和名之间的差别，你就能够理解龙树大师。龙树，那他觉得这个字与名分别指什么？对我们在厨房里的生活有什么帮助？
A question from Vivian Wang. Geshe-la mentioned that if in the kitchen you could understand the difference between words and names, then you can understand Nagarjuna well. Then what does the words and names refer to? And then what is the use for us in the kitchen in our life? Thank you.
这个是很复杂的一个问题。
It's a quite complicated question.
我也在，因为我在那个句舍的第2品里面，也就是从2022年我们会开始学到。
In the second chapter of Abhidhamma Kosha, which we will study in the year 2022.
然后那一品的名字叫 powers， 就是分别根品，就是我们去认知世界的那个根，就是我们所用的工具，像眼耳鼻舌身意等等。
The name of that chapter is called Powers. It's the instrument that we use to know the world, to perceive the world.
但我那天还跟小平开玩笑，就是男根女根也在这里讲的是男性力量、男性荷尔蒙、女性荷尔蒙。为什么男人是男人，女人是女人？是什么力量决定的？也都在这里，很酷的一瓶的内容。
That day I was joking with Allison because in this section it also talked about the male power and the female power, which decides why we're a man or why we're a woman. That is actually male energy or female energy.
但我们所有人都有的，就是男根女根的这个力量，我们都有的，只是占比不一样而已。
Everyone has male power energy and female energy. It is just the percentage is different.
然后顺便一提，就是我们要修行嘛，就是为了去平衡。像我们说佛陀，他既不是男性也不是女性，因为他2个能量都平衡。
By the way, one of the reasons why we practice is that we would like to reach a balanced state. For example, Lord Buddha, he is totally balanced in these two kinds of energies. He's totally balanced in male and female energy.
然后在这一篇里面就讲到了，词句文身，词句文身。
词句文身是什么身
？The body of 词，我说一下词句文。
The body of the article, like
名句文身 ，sorry， 搞错了，名。我打出来名句文身，稍等一下。名句怎么不见了？
Wait a minute, we're searching some technical terms that is related to the second chapter of Abhidhammakosha.
对，也是王老师问到的那个问题。
Which is related to Vivian Wang's question.
名句文身，原来是梵文 ，OK。sorry， 稍等一下。但是这个，因为我们还没学，我自己也没学，我只是看到书，所以我先简单说一说。
Because this part I've not studied it deeply, and then we have not gone deeper into that part in the class. So I would like just to briefly say something about it.
对，因为我有一次在纯经有讲过这个，所以谢谢翠萍跟欧拉。翠萍
Thanks to Cui Ping and Ola's reminder in the chat box, because Stanley actually has taught some part of it in the Pure Gold teachings.
特地讲到说什么是一个名字，就是一个名能表意，就是说之所以一个词之所以能成为名字，它有一个重要的原因是能够表达一个意思，就是有指向某个对象能表意的才叫名。这个不是特指名字的名，而是名词的名，就有意思的一个词，名词。
Okay. Then the first word is actually like a phrase, and then what becomes a phrase because it can communicate or send out some kind of meaning.
汤汤可能要翻译成名，要翻译成
name
word 会比较好。
Word. Word. The first one is word. It can send out some meaning.
然后有这个文，有句可以翻译成是sentence 或者是一个 verse， 然后有文就是一个 paragraph 一段。
OK。
对。
身呢？
身就是身是 body 的意思。
Body。
就是 the body
of article。
就是一段，就是名声的意思，就是好几个名在一起嘛，就成为了身，就有点像 hip 韵的意思，就聚集的意思。
Okay.
对。
Okay, got it. Thank you. Yeah. Let's review. Like it has 4 factors. First is word. Second is sentence or verse, and then the third is paragraph, and then the fourth is body, which is kind of like the hips or the other factors get together.
Yeah. 所以我们可以说这个名声、句声、文声，就是名字的聚集，一堆名字放在一起，一堆名词放在一起就是名声，大概是这个意思。
So there, we can also call it the body of the words, the body of sentence, the body of paragraph, which are the factors get together.
所以句子我们顾名思义了，句子就是很多个名词聚在一起才能成句嘛。然后文章也是要多个句子聚集在一起才能成文，所以它就是从越来越从小的单位，就有点像厘米分米一样的概念。
So the main principle here is that the small things add up to the big one. For example, the sentence come from small words that add up, and the paragraph come from the small sentence that that up like this.
我终于曲线救国，迂回到了王老师的问题上。然后这个名跟所以这里的名就指的是老师说的那个 words， 就是各种词的意思，以及句、词句等等都是属于 words， 就是语言，反正就是语言，一个是语言。
Now we just did a detour, and now we come back to Vivian Wang's question, and then we talked about the words. Is what the words we just mentioned in that 4 factors? Is the language? Is the words that we use?
但是还有一个名呢，事物的名字，事物真正的名字是什么？这个名又讲的是什么呢？
And then what is the name mean? What is the name of one thing? What does it mean?
那事物的我们讲 the true name of things， 事物的真名是什么？
We have a phrase that is called the true name of a thing. What does it mean?
譬如说这是笔，这支笔的真正的名字是什么？
This is pen. Then what is the true name of it?
肯定不是笔这个发音，因为我们讲换个语言 pen 也可以指它。
It should not be the Chinese pronunciation 笔 because in English pronunciation pen, we can also refer to it.
然后它也不是笔或者是 pen 的这个声音，不是这个词哦，是指这个声音，笔或者 pen 这个声音也不是它的真名。
And the sound of 笔 or pen is also not his true name.
然后我跟小平都很爱的一个科幻小说叫做《地海传奇》。
Alison and I have a favorite novel that is called The Legacy of what? 地海
The Earth Sea.
Earth Sea, okay.
然后它是那个一个非常酷的，它作者叫尤因。然后 anyway， 它里面讲到说，如果你明白了事物的真名，你就能够操控事物。
It says one very brilliant sentence in this novel says that if you know the true name of this thing, then you can control it.
然后譬如说他们里面的很多 magician 魔法师，就是会去了解各个事物的真名，他就能够控制，譬如说地水火风，他能够让地变化，然后让天气变化，然后他还能够控制里面的 dragon 里面的龙，如果他知道真名的话。
Then there's magicians in this novel that seek to find out the true names of elements or things so that they can control like the fire or the earth, the water, and they can even control the dragons.
甚至生命如何获得永生。
Even life, then they can become deathless.
为什么讲这个呢？因为这个跟我们经典里面讲的真名也是一样的。如果你明白了事物背后真正的名字的话，你就能够去创造你想要的未来。
Why I'm talking about this? Because this is similar to what is taught in what it was taught in the classics. If we understand the true name of things, then we can create the desired future for us.
也是我们的龙叔大师 Uncle Dragon 就是讲到的这个一样的，就是一样的东西，都是一样的。
That is what Ariana Gajina was talking about.
那我问大家了，就是大家觉得这个能书写的工具，这个笔或者 pen， 它的真正的名字是什么？
So right now I'm raising a question to you. What is the true name of this thing, this pen?
Yeah, mental picture， 对，就是那个光做的小小的笔的图片，那就是它的真名。
That is the mental picture made of light.
然后是这一张图片才让它成为了书写的工具，成为了笔。
It is this picture that makes it into the pen which we can use to write.
也是这一张图片创造了笔的假名，譬如说 pen 或者笔这个词。
It is also this picture that creates the false name of it, like the pen.
也是这张图片创造了这个东西跟笔这个词之间的关系。
It is again this picture creates the coloration between this thing and the pen.
也就是说，这些关系，这个名字笔本身不是对应它的，这两者的关系也不是本来就有的。
What I'm saying is that this this thing is not naturally connected with pen, and the connection is not naturally existent.
是我们的，是它的真名，是这个意识里的种子 Bacha 创造的图片。
Is the true name or Bacha, the seeds that creates the picture.
如果我们能够明白这一点的话，
If we come to understand it,
我们就可以把厨房里面的老公改名。
then we can change the name of the husband in the kitchen.
从一个 yelling husband 怒吼的老公到一个 sweet honey husband。
From a yelling husband to a honey sweet husband.
这个就让你的婚姻从一个就是可以改名，从糟糕的婚姻到幸福的完美的婚姻。
Thus, the same way applies to your marriage, from a lousy marriage to a sweet, happy marriage.
这就是他真正的改名的方式，真正的创造。
And this is the real creation. This is the truth. This is the real how we fix the names, change the names.
酷，好，谢谢王一静老师的这个问题。
Thank you, Vivian Wang, for your question.
不知道就是国外的都看完了，地海都看完了6部，不知道国外的朋友有没有问题我看到Aria，哇塞 Aria G16 Aria 有这个问题在问答区里面，然后也有一个我先回答 Galaxy Tab A 的问题吧。汤汤，你要不要先念这个英文？我也看得到吗？
看到，刚才说。
先念吧。
Okay, question from Galaxy Tab. Nagarjuna's philosophical project is ultimately a soteriological one, meant to correct our everyday cognitive processes, which mistakenly posits svabhava on the flow of experience of our internal nature. A good doctor always finds the anecdote.
I don't know if I understand your question. Maybe it's not a question. Are you still there, Galaxy? Do you want to type something to explain what you want to ask? 汤汤，你明白这个问题吗？要不你翻译一下问题。
稍等，我查一下。
Okay.
Shall we get the person to clarify the question?
Yeah, I do want to, but
because if we can't understand the question, we can't answer it correctly.
那个词
That proves
那个词叫救世神学。
救命什么救赎啊？救赎论。
救赎对。
救赎论 soteriological. Oh my god.
Stanley, 你要给他讲话权吗？
但是他不在呀 ，Galaxy 不在。
有 attendees 那边有。
Oh, are you there, Galaxy? Do you want to? If you are there, can you?
你点一下，然后你就可以allow to talk 还是什么
Let me see.
让他讲话比较方便。对。
Hello. We can hear you, Galaxy. Are you there? Maybe the name is not Galaxy. It's the machine. It's the phone. Oh, okay. That's rather nature always resolve this karma. I still don't understand what you really want to ask.
Galaxy, you can speak. You are giving the right to speak. 你可以帮他 unmute 吗
？Let me see. Okay, you're unmuted.
Well, thank you.
Hello. May I know your name?
Thank you. I have blue.
Oh, there's some echo. Maybe you're using different machines, different devices at the same time.
Is it okay now?
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, so does Buddha nature resolve its issues? Like, through Nagarjuna's logic, is there an antidote for 84,000? He's going to solve all your problems. A good doctor is always going to find a cure to your issues. Essentially, it's already inherent in the Buddha nature, so it'll work itself out. Kleshas, karma, they're going to work itself out.
Got it. Cool. Tantan, would you like to translate it first into Chinese?
你可以帮忙，我不确定我 get it.
Okay, I'll try to
Okay.
say
Okay,
something.
thank you.
然后这一位 Galaxy 先生，我还是不知道他的名字，就是问到一个问题，就是你讲到一个佛性 Buddha nature， 然后讲到说在龙树的理论当中，龙树大师有提到我们可以去，譬如说把84000种烦恼全部清。所以他说这关于佛性的理论能否解决这个问题，因为所有的成就，譬如说还有所有的 achievement， 所有的悉地，所有的一切都在这个佛性里面。OK， 那我开始讲了，还是你要？
对，我就
Okay.
补充一句，Stanley was just explaining your Mr. Galaxy's question to Chinese audience. Thank you. Now he's gonna explain.
我完全不知道我能否回答这个问题，我只是想分享一下我的理解。
I'm not sure if I could answer this question, but I would like to share my understanding.
关于佛性这个话题，其实有很多的辩论。
There are quite a lot of debate on the topic of Buddha nature.
佛性有一种理解，我知道的就是说，佛位已在你心中，你只需要把它显露出来，一切成就、一切智、涅槃，所有烦恼的清除，都已经在你内心了，你只需要把它挖出来。
I know one point of view is that Buddha nature is already within you. All you need to do is just to clear away the obstacles. Sorry, I've lost the later
like,
part.
All the good things, all the results of practice, like free from all the are already there in the Buddha nature. That's one point of view. 然后有人说，并不是这样的，有另外一个说法是并不是这样。
And another point of view is that it's not like this.
佛性不要 take it literally， 不要按字面理解它的意思。
You cannot just understand it by the meaning of the words Buddha nature.
的确，人人皆有佛性，小蚂蚁也有佛性，众生皆有佛性。
Indeed, every being has Buddha nature, even ants and every living being.
但有一个学派解释说，佛性的意思是每一个众生都有成佛的可能性，无有例外。
Another school says that Buddha nature represents that every being has the potential to become a Buddha without exception.
Equally， 平等的。
Equally.
然后就说我们讲到在唯识里面常讲如来藏嘛，他嘎达嘎吧，对吧？是不是这样念的？他达嘎达嘎吧。
Garba, yeah. In Mindoni, we often talk about this one.
Tathagata Garba.
Cool. Who is that? Is it JC?
本人讲的。
Okay, cool. Yeah. 那一样的意思就是 potential， 我们都有这个潜能，能成佛，所有人都平等，都有，任何生命、任何生物都有。
And this word means like we have potential. Every kind of being has the potential to become a Buddha.
它就是一个，所以叫如来藏。对。
So it's called Tathagata Garba.
you can say the womb of greatness or the womb of one Gondas or something like that 如来藏但它的意思实际上是指我们每个人都具有空性，每个人都是空的。
And it's actually talking about that everyone is empty.
Yeah, and we all have emptiness of me on our inside. 所以这是龙树大师的中锋，就是他的观点。
And this is Arya Nagarjuna's view.
的确，我们有很多烦恼，84000个问题，84000种烦恼。
Indeed, we have a lot of mental afflictions, like the 84,000 mental afflictions.
但是所有这些问题，它本质皆是空，就是它们都不是本身就在那的。
However, all these problems or mental afflictions, the nature of them is empty. They are not like separately out there.
They're not independent. They don't exist on their own. They have no independence power. 也就是说，他们都是缘起法，他们都是依缘而生的事物。
They are all dependently originated.
也就是说，只要我们解决它的因，它果一定会变。
So as long as we can resolve its cause, then we can change the result.
然后他们的因最核心的因是什么？导致所有问题最核心的因就是 misunderstanding.
And the key core, or the core of it, is misunderstanding.
或者换句话叫我执 attachment to self， 就认为事物有自性。
In another term is attachment to self, believing that there is believing there is self nature in something.
认为当你回到厨房的时候，老公骂你说I didn't do anything， 我什么都没做，是老公决定骂我的，这就是attachment， 这就是这个 Nick 老师那堂课讲到的 desire， 真正的 desire， 真正的贪就是有这个我执，就是认为事物有自性，这是真正的问题。
The real problem is like what teacher Nick mentioned. What is in his class, the real attachment in Buddhism is that you, like when you go in,
the real desire.
The real desire into Buddhism is that you believe there is something there. Like when you go into the kitchen, you believe it is the husband decides to yell at you.
And if we can make 我怎么讲英文了？如果我们能够砍掉这个根，这所有的烦恼的根，那所有的84000就会通通消失了。
So if we could just cut off the root of it, then all the rest, 84,000 mental afflictions will disappear.
这有点像那个《道德经》里面讲这个一生二，二生三，三生万物。这个把这个一干掉，万物就不好的这个万物就没了。
It is like in Taoism, it has this famous saying that 1 becomes 2 and 2 give rise to 3 and the 3 give rise to everything. If we cut off the core, then the rest of them just disappear.
所以因此我们是充满希望的，只要我们学习空性，因为空性是直接对付这一种误解的解药 antidote 就在这里。
So it's actually promising for us. As long as we study Buddhism, study emptiness, then this is the real antidote for us to resolve everything.
因为它就是那个根，可以连根拔起。
Because that is the root which you could cut off.
Sorry， 糖糖要用这些成语这是我对这个问题的理解。
This is how we would like to understand this question.
这就是为什么我们要学习龙树，学习空性。
And this is why we should study Nagarjuna and emptiness.
好，然后我们因为推迟了15分钟开始，所以我们还有最后5分钟。我想回答一下，应该是在问答区里面有个 Aria 的问题，有个 Aria 问了一个问题。
Okay, because we postponed 15 minutes before we start, so we have another 5 minutes to go. And I would like to answer the question from Arya in the chat box.
Aria 的问题是，为食的种子储存在冰箱，那么中观是怎么储存种子的？种子是如何不间断的存储以及投射到外面的？
The question from Arya is that the seed in a mind-only school, the seeds are restored in the refrigerator, while the middle way, how does middle way perceive the restoring seeds? How does middle way interpret the restoring seeds and projection that happen all the time?
Cool. 为食跟中观其实是有很多的不一样的，方方面面的见地有不一样的地方。
Actually, the mind-only and the middle way, they share a lot of difference in many aspects.
By the way, Tang, your translation is amazing. I thank you. I can really speak.
Thank you.
然后，譬如说，一个重大的辩论是关于心外无物的问题，就是唯识认为一切为心嘛，一切为识，所有的事物都在识里面，但是中观认为识外是有物的。
Okay. For example, a major debate is about outer objects because mind only believes that all are minds, so there's nothing outside. However, middle way believe there's still something outside.
但是所有的那个，无论是唯识跟中观，都是认为种子、业力创造了万物。
However, no matter it is mind only or middle way, they both believe that it is seeds from karmic seeds that create the outer world.
所以这一点他们当然有不同程度的创造，但是都没有这一点大部分都没有问题。包括俱舍里面也讲，就是识别有业生嘛，整个世界以及世界所有的细节都是由业力而生。
Like Amidala's school, they also believe that the whole universe and the details are created by seeds. It's just that to different extent that different schools host to this kind of view. They are both on the same page on it. It's just the difference is on the extent.
Pretty much on the same page, but they are different. 但然后Aria 问到这个问题，就是说我们讲唯识里面的种子也叫业习气，就是储存在冰箱，就是储存在阿赖耶识里面。
The seeds that are restored in the refrigerator, we can also call it 业习气, like karmic habits.
Yeah, great. 气没翻出来，但是 anyway 然后中观也讲种子是储存在意识里的。
And then middle way also say seeds are restored in the mind.
但是他们认为不需要再另设第8识跟第7识。
But they do not see any necessity for the 7th and 8th consciousness.
那只要在第6识就好了。
Seeds could just stay in the 6th consciousness.
足够稳定，可以储存种子。
And it's stable enough for the seeds to stay there.
所以这是一种。然后问到说种子如何不间断的储存以及投射。那储存我们刚刚讲了，就是你的思即思所作嘛，就是业力的定义。你的思，你的所想，思所作就是你的想所做的行为、语言跟行动，身体的行动等都会全部储存下来。
The question asks about how the seeds are constantly restored and projected, because we say that whenever you're thinking and you're speaking or you're doing actions, they are storing seeds in your mind.
因为意识一直都在觉，就是他一直在察觉我们在做什么，通过这个察觉就好像记录一样，全部都按在了识里面。
Because the mind is constantly aware, so it's constantly like recording everything that is immersed on the mind.
所以一直有一个警察在看着你，那就是你自己的事，所以好事坏事通通记录。
So it's like there's a watchman or policeman always watch you, recording everything you do, no matter good or bad.
然后这个业力的法庭就负责把这些你的种种行为举止投射到你的世界当中。
And then the karmic court will bring out or project everything you do to the outer world.
然后它是超级公平，你做了什么就会得到什么。
It's super fair. You will earn what you did.
你遇到所有的好事都是你应得的，
Every good thing in your life, you deserve them.
所有的坏事也是应得的。
Same for the bad ones,
这是好消息，因为你可以掌控一切。
which is a good news because it means you can control everything.
最后一点讲到怎么投射到外面，
And last one, how they are projected to the outside world.
这个正好就是 Word 那个里面讲到的关于命名处施设跟假名的问题了，就是整个种子开花结果投射的过程。
And this relates to words classes talk about how the objects are given the name and then projected to your outer world.
这3个很重要，所以我们每个人都是可以去学习这3个词，一个是 gachi， 一个是 dokche， 一个是 takche， 命名处的跟假名。
So these 3 things are quite important. We should all try to grasp them. One is, first is,
object imputed
can you repeat the Tibetan? Oh, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I can actually put it in the chat too. Okay, here. If we can take this home, it's worth it. 汤汤，你要说一下吗？这个3个。
OK， 第一个是命名处，就是被，
你讲英文吗？
sorry, Chinese. Okay, these 3 elements or factors are quite important. We should grasp them. And then one is object imputed upon Tibetan is dakshi. And for example, the colors and the shapes as like the raw data of the pen. And the second one is dokje, which is imputation, like the process of the mind trying to tie the parts together with a mental image. The mind tying the parts together. And then the third one is takchu, is the objects which resulted from the process, like the pen.
对，然后这3个就是整一个投射的过程，创造的过程。然后经典里面会讲名言安利，就是 established by names and terms， 就是这个意思。
And these 3 compose the process of projection. And in classics, we have this term of established by names and terms, which has the meaning like this. 这个
names and terms 就是我们讲到的那个真名了，就是我们最开始讲到那个真名，就是 mental picture， 就是这个 imputation， 这个词。
Okay, names and terms. Sorry, names and terms are the true name that we mentioned before. That is similar to what we mentioned here.
Cool. 好，谢谢大家的提问，谢谢汤汤的翻译。
Okay, thank you everyone for the questions, and thank you, translator.
然后祝大家有一个美好的夜晚，一个美好的一天。
I wish all of you a good night and a good day.
谢谢汤汤。
Thank you, Tom.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
谢谢大家，拜拜。苏根，我是不是直接关掉了 ？I guess. Okay, I'll shut off the Zoom. 我直接关掉这个 Zoom 的会议了，拜拜，谢谢大家。